Welcome to the Happy Black Woman Podcast, where we're on a mission to empower women to transform their lives through personal development and entrepreneurship. We bring you all the information, inspiration, and motivation you need to create a life of happiness, success, and freedom. Now, please welcome your host, the happy Black woman herself, Rosetta Thurman.
Hello and welcome back to the Happy Black Woman Podcast. This is Rosetta and I am back bringing you another fabulous conversation where you can learn from the wisdom of all the ladies in our Happy Black Woman tribe. And today is no different. You're going to be hearing from Jennifer Kennedy. I have gotten the pleasure to know Jennifer over the past few years. She's been a really valuable member of our community and she runs a really interesting business, which you'll hear about in a moment. You can read all about her in her bio in our show notes. But for now, welcome, Jennifer.
Hello, Rosetta. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad to have you here and to share your knowledge with everyone on the podcast. And I'm just going to jump right in here so people can hear about you. Tell us all about your mission and what kind of work you do.
My biggest mission is really to help women make the impact that they were born to make. And specifically for those people who want to start an online business, I really want to help them change the world with their content. I feel like the information that you put out there through e-courses, books, workshops, webinars really has the potential to change someone's life. And I saw that firsthand myself as a former teacher and an educator. I had actually a student in my classroom one day. I was teaching about how to write a persuasive essay, and I wanted the students to persuade the principal to actually extend their recess time. And one of my students stood up in the middle of that class and he said, "Miss Kennedy, you teach us some good stuff." And so that's actually how I came up with my business name, Teach Good Stuff. But more so, it really just encompasses my mission. I really feel that education, teaching, creating digital products really has the potential to change someone's life. And so that's my mission, to help people who have that gift that they want to share with the world to create digital content so that they can make that impact.
Wonderful. I love it. So, you mentioned content and you mentioned digital and online. And I know a lot of the ladies in our Happy Black Woman tribe are still trying to figure all that out. So how would you say you do that? How do you help women make that impact through their content?
So for me, I typically offer a lot of hands-on workshops. I like that element of teaching and that really comes across. And that's my brilliant zone, my gift. So I do a lot of free trainings, workshops. I love creating workbooks. So you'll find workbooks all over my website and printables for people to use. I also provide one-on-one coaching services as well. So I have a lot of different people who come to my website, and there's usually two camps of people who are not exactly sure where to start. And then there's the other side where they might have started. So they might be at step F, but they haven't set the foundation up, the A, B, C, or D. And so I really want to help them kind of backtrack and get back into focus and really pulling out an idea that's going to resonate with people, resonate with their audience, and then walk them through the steps of outlining their idea. So it's going to be successful and meaningful to the people who, take their content or read their book, take their workshop, whatever they might do.
Well, that's great. I know that a lot of people need that, especially people that are stuck and need help moving forward. So I'm curious, though, and I know everyone else is wondering, going from a teacher to now supporting women online, what made you decide to start this kind of business?
That's a really good question, because since I was a teacher for 8 years and I really never had the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, not even an online entrepreneur. I don't think I actually had ever heard of that when I was teaching. But I taught for 8 years. I quit teaching. It just became really tough with the students, the push for standardized testing, dealing with the parents. So it was just a really, really unique and different situation that I had entered into prior to teaching. And so I decided to quit teaching. I got a master's degree in education. After I got that master's, I started working for, I guess I would say, quote unquote, corporate America. It's actually a small company. And I was a software trainer. I traveled throughout California, training people how to use the software, and I just absolutely loved it. But I just had the sense one day that I wanted to reach for something more. I just had that, that bubbly feeling that you get inside, that you just are put on this earth to do something more and different. And that just kept coming up over and over and over again. That along with, I had a long commute. I'm sure a lot of people probably can relate to that. I had an hour commute each direction. I felt there was no growth in my organization or that company. I was doing the same things over and over again. So I really just had this idea that I wanted to build a life of freedom and independence for myself. And I was online at that time. I actually had blogged many years before when I was living abroad in Africa. So I was already kind of in that atmosphere. And I saw a lot of people building businesses and starting businesses online. And I just I want to do this. And I really felt like I had something to offer, especially with my teaching background. And that I saw people were creating online courses and all of these things. And I wanted to bring that part of me to the online world. So that's basically how I started my business and where it kind of went in terms of why I wanted to start that. And, I didn't come up with Teach Good Stuff initially. Actually, when I realized I wanted to start a business, I had a lot of ideas, tons and tons of ideas. I'm probably sure about 8 websites. So I have 8 domain names under
I remember that.
So I was trying to do personal organization, professional development, public speaking, and all of these things. But I think that's part of the process, part of learning, part of, really figuring your thing out. And one day it really just occurred to me that the thing that I most want to do has been the thing that I've been doing all along, which has been teaching. And so, that's how I started Teach Good Stuff.
That's interesting. I mean, just to realize that what you want to do is what you've been doing all along, just for yourself and not for someone else as a job. So that is a great aha that a lot of ladies on the podcast can probably relate to as you're listening. You don't have to go out and do this new thing. Sometimes it's just switching how you do it and who you do it for.
Exactly. And that didn't occur to me until I actually was a member of Toastmasters. And so you're supposed to come to the meetings with a prepared speech or presentation. And this particular time, no one had a presentation prepared. And so they asked for volunteers to stand up in front of, the room and just deliver a speech off the cuff. And so I volunteered to do that. And did I talk about, all these other domains that I, kind of decided to bring up? No, I talked about teaching and actually putting together a course. And so that was kind of my aha. And that was the moment that I realized, yep, this is what I'm going to do. It's going to be all about helping people create online courses and digital products as well.
Awesome. I love it. And I love that you're so specific, because there are a lot of women on the line that, this is what we want. We want freedom. We want to be able to quit our jobs and travel. So having an online course definitely lends itself to that as a business model. So I'm wondering if, just share with us some of the action steps or tips that go into actually getting started with an online course. Like, what is involved in putting an online course together? And some of you are kind of, your head is already swimming. What's an online course? So it's like you could take a class at a university, or you could take one online from an instructor on any topic anywhere in the world. So technology has allowed us to do that. So that's what we mean when we say an online course. You want to learn something, you can go and learn it. So if someone wanted to start an online course, what action steps would they have to do to get started?
The biggest one, and I talked about that before, were the 2 types of people who come to my website, either don't know where to start, or maybe they have started and are not really, they haven't done those foundational pieces just yet. So the biggest one for both of those types of people, or those groups of people, is to find an idea meaning one that's going to work and one that's going to bring in money. One of the things that I see people doing wrong all the time is coming up with these ideas that they themselves think are just awesome and amazing, and they just want to put it out there into the world, which I feel like is, a great place to start, because obviously you need to be passionate about it. But on the other side of that, you also need to find something that's going to resonate with your audience, or the people who are going to purchase your course. You really need to think about what problems they're having and how you and your expertise and your smarts and all of the goodness that you have can help solve that. So really it's about matching, what you can share, what you love, your passion with a problem that people have. So you can really help them out specifically, reach a goal or reach what they need to have. So most people are looking on, when you go to Google, when you go to YouTube, you're looking on how to do something or, finding a problem to this or answer to this problem. So it's really coming down to finding a topic that's going to work. And from there, I really like to reach out to people, reach out to see exactly what they are struggling with specifically. I really like to hop on the phone with some of my potential customers or even people who purchased my products previously and really just get an understanding of what's blocking them from learning this, what's really impacting them, what's stopping them from achieving this specific goal. I myself have an idea, but until you get it from somebody else, that's when it really occurs to you, what type of information you can put in your course, what's going to really help them out. So getting an idea, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and really understanding where they're coming from, what their blocks are. And from there, the third tip I can say is to start with the end in mind. It's all about the backwards planning. Think about if they take your course, at the end of your course or end of even your workbook, your workshop, it can be any kind of content that you create. What do you want them to be able to do as a result? How should they be different? How should they behave differently? What should they be able to do now or do better than they had done before? Because once you have that piece, you can just write an outline that gives people the step-by-step they need in order to get to that end results. Everything you put in your course comes down to what that goal is. So that would be the third tip to do, is to think about the end and then work backwards to outline your program. So come up with your idea, engage with the people who will potentially take your course and workshop, and then start with the end and work backwards as far as planning and outlining your programs.
Those are some great action steps. I love it, especially.
I'm getting a little excited about this.
Especially the one about really thinking ahead, like starting with the end in mind and knowing what you want your students, your clients to get out of your training, which a lot of people don't start with. They're like, oh, what can I teach? What can I do? But really, all we're doing is helping people solve a problem, helping them become better in their different areas of their lives. So I love that one. And I know you probably get this question all the time, so I'm just going to ask because I know it's on everyone's mind. What kind of technology is required to put this together, to put an online course together? So say I know what I want to teach. Maybe I even have a PowerPoint presentation I put together. Now what do I do?
Yes, that's a great question. And it also depends on your goals for your course and kind of where you are right now in particular with that course. So most people are probably beginning and they're just starting off. One of the and a lot of people who come to me also don't want to touch technology. They're a little bit scared of technology. Even myself, sometimes I'm just like, I don't really want to do this, or I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. But if you want to create kind of a lean course, you just want to put your first one out there, one of the best things to do is take that PowerPoint that they might have or their notes and place it on PowerPoint and just record their presentation that they go through that entire PowerPoint, just narrate what's going on, and create a video from that PowerPoint. You can do that actually from within PowerPoint itself or Keynote. There's also other technologies such as, I think there's kind of one called Screencast-O-Matic, which is an online one, or you can purchase things such as Camtasia or ScreenFlow. So some way to record your slides. And then the easiest and most leanest way is there are a lot of different resources to deliver digital products. And one that I have been using quite a bit is called Gumroad. That's G-U-M Road, ROAD.com. And literally you put a title to your program or your workshop, your digital product. You upload it to the website. You place a price on it, and then you can start to begin selling your product. So that would be the easiest way to kind of get started, especially, with their first product and wanting to get it out there. Some people like to dive into the more advanced things And especially if you wanted to start off, keeping it lean and keeping it simple is a great way to go about that.
Yeah, that's a great tip, because it's easy to get overwhelmed in this process. People just know they want to teach something. They know they want to take their work online, but all the technology can be really daunting, even for people that are skilled and experienced at presenting. The technology can really make them delay that process.
Yeah.
So,
it definitely hinders some people from moving forward and really stops them and blocks them. So I don't want anyone to get stuck or stopped. I just want, to keep it super simple, easy peasy, as I like to say all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Reminding people that you can just record yourself presenting with your PowerPoint. I mean, I started out like that with my initial courses. I don't know if you guys remember, I started out with a program called Personal Branding Bootcamp back in 2010. And that's really all I did. And then I learned how to use GoToWebinar and then all these other technologies over time. Didn't jump right in with that, but it really embodies a saying that I love to share in our tribe, and it says, "Start now, improve later."
Yep, exactly.
You can still make money with a recorded PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of people look to you, and people see you in our Facebook group, and they see you in our mastermind program. I mean, Jennifer's one of our clients in our mastermind. And they wonder, like, how does Jennifer get so much done? Is she so productive? So can you share with our listeners, how do you stay productive? Are there certain things you do throughout the day that keep you on track? Because working online can be a time suck for a lot of people. They get sidetracked with Facebook and they end the day and they haven't written one blog post or created one PowerPoint slide. So how do you do it?
Exactly. So this is my second favorite topic to talk about, is staying productive and on task. And this is something that I didn't start off with. I was just all over the place when I first started. I would say that the things I did, like you just mentioned, I was kind of haphazard. I would get sucked into the vortex of Facebook and I wouldn't end up getting anything done. So over the last, I want to say 6 months, I've really been more intentional about guarding my time and energy. And that is super important to me, especially to get the things done that I want to achieve in my life. And for me to do that, I have set up a weekly schedule. So I am very regimented and I try to have a very productive day by outlining everything that I want to get done. So I schedule my social media. I schedule time with my boyfriend. I schedule the walks that I do with my dog. Everything that I do is on my calendar, and I create a weekly schedule that I follow. And so for me, I do the same thing every single day so that I stay on task. And I wake up at 7 a.m. I walk my dog. I exercise. I eat. I also have meditation and prayer time. So I really kind of set myself up for the day and set an intention for what I want to do and what I want to achieve throughout the day. And then I have really 2 major blocks of time. Those are my project times as well as my marketing and list building blocks of time. And I typically do that between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And I guard that time like it's like a fortress. And when I say I guard the time, that means I lock my cell phone up in my closet, because as soon as, typically, when the cell phone rings, you want to jump up and answer it. And then once you answer it, then you're off doing something else that somebody else called you to do, or that you need to put out this fire, or you need to do X, Y, and Z, instead of being intentional with what you're doing. So I really, I lock up my cell phone. I turn the ringer off. My ringer's always off, really. I shut down my social media. I make sure I don't even check email at that specific time. And my main focus really is to work on my most important tasks for that day. And so that's how I typically stay productive with my weekly schedule and really minimizing the distractions that come about on your day to day.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that you use that weekly schedule for everything, not just your business, but for your personal too, because that's really, I always tell people, if it's not on my calendar, it's not real. It does not exist. So, this interview wouldn't have happened if it wasn't on my calendar. If it was up to me for my mind to remember this, it wouldn't do it. So I think a lot of times people overestimate, like they overly trust themselves that, oh yeah, I'm going to remember to do that. And
Exactly.
they don't put it in their calendar, but it is, once you're in this process, you realize how much more you get done. So you heard it here, as we've been hearing from so many ladies on the podcast, all of my guests have said that they use some type of calendar software where they can get all these things in. And for those of you worrying about, where does time with family and loved ones come in, that goes in the calendar too. So you can get everything done that you want in your life. So thank you for those insights about your productivity. So I know that we're getting close to our time, so I do want to share some inspiration for our listeners, of what inspires you and what keeps you going. So what makes you happy, Jennifer?
What makes me happy is just a lot of simple little things. I'm very kind of minimal and simple. And so my family, that includes like my little small family with my boyfriend and my dog, and my extended family who lives on the other side of the country. Wine makes me happy. Anytime I have a glass of wine in my hand, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting at a coffee shop makes me happy. I love the water and the beach. I live within 1 mile of the beach, and so I often walk down there just to watch the water, to think, to clear my mind. I love dancing. I love my niece and nephew, and I like traveling, having new experiences. So all these little kind of experiences in life, simplicities make me really happy.
Yeah, they add up, right? A lot of us are like, oh yeah, I love the simple pleasures, but when you add it all up, it's your life. These
Exactly.
are the things that we do. It's, I forget the quote. Every time I'm recording on a podcast, I forget the quotes. So I really should start writing them down.
You should have a running list.
Popped into my head. There was a quote that was saying like, oh yeah, so it's Omar Khayyam. So Omar Khayyam has an incredible quote, and it says, "Drink wine. This is life eternal." This is the time for wine and wine, roses, and drunken friends. This moment is your life. So it says something, enjoy this moment. This moment is your life. You guys can look it up, or I'll put it in the show notes. But it's one that I live by too, because it's like we think these are just moments and small pleasures and little experiences. But when you add it all up, all these moments make up our lives. So I love that you shared all the things that make you happy, because when you look back, these are the things that we remember, and we work to support our lives, not the other way around. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that. And, leading in that same direction, what's one book? I'm going to challenge you. One book that has inspired you through this journey. I know you've done a lot of personal development work to be able to be in this type of business, supporting other people. Anytime we support other people, we have to be supported some way ourselves. So what's a book that has helped you?
Yeah, there's tons of books that have helped me. But one in particular, I would say it would be The Alchemist. Mm-hmm. I really love that book. And every time I read it, I always come away with a different lesson. And ultimately, that whole book is about a boy who just listens to his heart and just follows his dreams no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest things, especially for me, that I really got from that is that there's another quote. I'm going to try to remember this quote. But I think Paulo Coelho says, the secret to life is to fall 7 times and get back up 8 times. Mm-hmm. So, we're really often, even myself, just are scared of failing, scared of, when I release a product that it's not going to land well with people, that it's not going to sell. And sometimes that fear prevents you from moving forward. But that forward motion, that constantly moving towards your dreams, really shows the universe, and it shows, and it creates the energy for you to move towards your dreams and really make it a reality. And so that's just a really good book for me to read. I try to read that towards the beginning of the year. And I haven't read that this year yet, so I will. It's going to be my next book. But that's probably one of the ones that really has helped me throughout this journey.
Yeah, that's definitely a favorite on this podcast. And so for all of you who have not read it yet, it may be a little nudge for you to grab that book, because we are all on this journey. And it's a great reminder that we're going to encounter a lot of different things along the way. But what matters is that we follow our heart and walk in our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So another vote for The Alchemist. And, I love personal mantras too. I mean, I love quotes. I love mantras. I pick one every year. Do you have a mantra or a motto or a saying that you live by?
The saying that I really come back to time and time again, especially as I'm building my business, is it's time to move. And that came from, there's a pastor out here in Los Angeles his name is Touré Roberts. And I just love his sermons, but he had a sermon that was called It's Time to Move. And I listened to that one last year, matter of fact, when I was about to launch one of my courses. And I will be honest, and I will say that I was literally in my bed, like bawling my eyes out and crying because I thought I was going to fail and this wasn't going to launch and it wasn't going to be good. And I just listened to that sermon and it really just got me up out of bed. And I realized that I have to take action towards my dreams. It's time for me to move. It's time for me to get up. It's time for me every day in the morning to really prioritize me and what I want to do. It's time for me to get out of my comfort zone. So moving is just taking those steps forward, even if they're baby steps, taking them forward so that you are working towards what you want to build in your life. And so that's really a mantra that just gets me through my days, my weeks, my months, launching a product, anything that I just need to get up and move. It's time for me to move and take action.
Oh, that's great. I love it. That's one of the ones we're going to add to our mantra bank here, and we'll put it in the show notes. It's time to move, because I know for so many ladies, it is time to move. This is the year to do it. Whatever time you're listening to this, it's no coincidence. It's time to move. So awesome. Okay, so I know I can't let you go without asking about your number one tip that you would give to all the women who are listening, who are thinking about starting a business, doing what they love, or maybe even in the process of getting to the point where they're starting to make those first few $100s or thousands of dollars. Like, what number one tip would you give them at this stage?
Oh, good question. At this stage, I would say to do stuff that brings you joy and happiness. And the reason why I say that is because, when I talked about starting this business, it was because of freedom and independence. I really wanted to create that life where I can travel and take my business with me. I could work from anywhere. I can call my own shots, be my own boss. But I found myself last year literally working from sunup to sundown, just like working. And I remember my boyfriend was like, are we going to hang out anytime? Are you going to spend time with me? And I literally pretty much replaced kind of what I was doing at my corporate job with what I was doing in my own business. And I just felt like I was just in this grind and just having to do this and not really enjoying what I was doing. So I would really encourage people to find joy and happiness with what you're doing, so that what you're creating is not going to be a replacement of the job that you want to leave, because that's not fun. That's not why you got into it in the first place. Right. So really just, create and do things that you're excited about, that you're happy about, that you really want to put out into this world.
Great advice. So I know that we've just touched the surface of the wisdom that you can share about what it means to run an online business and how people can get started with their courses, even just with a recorded PowerPoint presentation and putting that out there. So, there's so much more we could talk about.
A lot.
And so much
Exactly.
more people are going to be curious about. So, how can people find out more about you and continue to learn from you after today?
So you can head on over to my website, which is teachgoodstuff.com. And if you want to pick up some free course creating guides, you can also go to teachgoodstuff.com/guides. That's GUIDES.
Mm-hmm. And what will they find when they go there and what do? They enter their email address?
Yep, name and email address, and you will get 3 guides how to put out your first course. You would also have the 5 essential elements to any online course, and then also all the tools that you will need to actually record it, to make it pretty and make it nice, and then get it up so that you can sell your actual course.
Wonderful. So that's exactly what I know a lot of you have been searching for and looking for. And Jennifer has just delivered the goods to you here on the Happy Black Woman podcast. So you can go to teachgoodstuff.com/guides, and we'll also put that link in the show notes. By the way, you can always get all the show notes from our episodes by going to happyblackwomanpodcast.com. So, wow. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your time and your expertise with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
Yeah, it's always fun talking to Jennifer, as you will come to realize when you sign up for her guides and start following her on social media and getting her emails. Definitely makes this process fun instead of overwhelming. So it's been a pleasure talking with you, Jennifer. And for those of you who have not listened to our previous podcast episodes, you are missing out. So go back and look at all the previous episodes we've done with our amazing guests, soak up all their wisdom, take notes, and I hope to see you very soon. Until then, this is Rosetta Thurman, and you can find us at happyblackwoman.com. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on the Happy Black Woman podcast. If you want all the show's notes from today's episode, go to happyblackwomanpodcast.com. Plus, we'll send you a copy of Rosetta's free life mapping workbook. We look forward to empowering you next time. And until then, do something this week that makes you happy.